For me, when I saw Jesus, when I saw in the world a moment when I suddenly felt a kind of joy that I didn't even know I had in me, was when the Berlin Wall fell. I can't even tell you the depth of my delusion, but it felt so real. And you remember, you know, people, a lot of people in this room, they won't know, but we lived in a world which was supposed to be fixed into two hostile camps. A nuclear death guarded all the exits, and you couldn't move right or left, and history was over, and all that other stuff didn't matter, and everything was relegated.
You had to choose sides.
It's like nothing would change. To me, that was the most oppressive thing about it. It wasn't the mushroom cloud, it wasn't the fixed sides, because you got some sense that there was fluidity, but it was this idea that's never going to change.
Right.
And if it does change, it's going to change in some horrible war, and it's going to be worse. So what happens? The wall falls, and I remember those New York Times reporters, and they were coming up. These were veteran reporters. They'd been all over the world. They'd covered South Africa, Russia, Vietnam, and they walked up, and there was awe in their faces, childlike awe. Their mouths were gaping, and I saw that, and that registered with me. And I thought, you don't know everything that can happen in this world. You don't know. Good can happen too. There was not a shot fired during those nights. I was like, how? How could it happen? It wasn't supposed to happen, and it did, and there's this moment, and the world understands it, and it's all going to change, and it's all going to change for the better. And then the wars in Yugoslavia. And it was just clear. It wasn't that, I was naive enough to think a certain way about that event. But I did think that beyond that, there was this sense of, well, the world, we're going to learn something here. Something's going to happen here.
Right. It's going to become part of our being.
It's going to be part of our being.
Bones, our history. We're going to live this out.
We're going to live
We're not going
this
to forget
out.
this lesson.
We're not going to forget it, and we're going to know things, and we're going to build this world now, which is not going to be like that world. It's not going to be fixed into hostile camps. Something, I don't even think it was that coherent.
Right.
It's like something wonderful has happened here. The human race has redeemed itself a little bit here.
Here's what I don't understand. So how, in 9/11, we had this moment as a nation, even as a world people, where everybody, not everybody, a vast majority of the world is saying, that is unacceptable. That is barbarism. That is evil. Okay?
Yeah.
And it's sort of agreeing
Right.
that is kind of evil. You might have your reasons,
Right.
but they're not big enough to justify that level of taking the lives of innocent people.
Right.
Right? So what happened? How did we lose it so fast and so quickly? I don't understand how we might have had a moment to build bridges as a country, as a people, as a global citizenry. How did we lose it that quick to where, a few years later, America is hated? How did it go from America being the victim who we all feel compassion towards to America being the oppressor who we all hate and despise?
I think because that was an illusion. What we were all transfixed by was that sight.
Hey, Johnny, you got to see this. Families of Columbine High School, Littleton, Colorado, remembering 9/11. Columbine, to me, was the culmination of everything that happened in the 90s, which was Soviet Union's no longer the enemy, right? Communists are no longer the enemy. And what did we start doing? Ruby Ridge, Waco, Oklahoma City, and Columbine. Started shooting ourselves. And 9/11 became the chance where we finally had another enemy outside of ourselves.
Well, you know what you're suggesting a little bit? If we stop using this to fight Islamic fundamentalists or whoever we think is our enemies, then there's only one fight left,
if we're talking about world history, and there's been highlights, there's been moments where people sort of caught it, where we sort of came together. But the overall shape and flow is new ways of killing, new ways of dividing, new ways of torturing. This is where I come in and say, I need a situation, I need a way to get on the other side of the human predicament.
Yeah.
This is where I respond to Jesus and I say, the world's problems are the same as my problems. I can't fix myself. I am broken. I need help.
Yeah.
I am a war maker, not a peacemaker.
Right.
And if I'm going to get any peace in this world, I need someone who can bring it. And Jesus said, I'm going to bring it.
Yeah.
That's who I embraced, man. That's who I accepted. That's who I said, I will follow. I am committed to that dude. You may kill in his name, but you ain't going to be able to justify it based on his teachings.
Well, you know, I hear you. And I think maybe when I saw that wall fall, that's the closest I came to feeling the truth of what I believed when I was in high school and college. That was the one moment where I think I had as an adult the same feeling, but more refined. A sense of this all doesn't have to be this darkness.